Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jean-Pierre Prébillois from Ballet International from Rome, Italy speaking. I have already created a few months ago a video in which we talk about the injuries that could happen to ballet dancers and to ballet artists in general while they are doing their daily training. Now, this is the second part. Of course, I will try to do my best because I am not using a 3D dimensional software, just a normal PowerPoint, in order to explain a few things. Please excuse because my English is not perfect and my medical terms might not be correct. So I will try to do my best. However, I'm just giving some tips and some personal comments. Probably not many people might agree with, but never mind. Sorry. So, here in this slide, we see a skeleton. As you see, skeletons are always smiling. Here, as we see, it's the front side, and on that part we see the back side. Now, what is the most dangerous part in the body of a dancer? Of course, we are talking about the joints. The joints of the shoulders, the elbows, the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Now, in some cases, it might happen that many dancers may accuse some pain, some aches in the neck due to overstress. And when dancers are starting to get older, after 40, 45 years old, they start accusing problems with the spine. So in this part, we see the spine much better. See? So this is the only part of the body that relates the ribs cage with the hips. Sometimes it can happen that dancers, due to pas de deux work, especially the boys, may have problems with the scapula and with the shoulders. And some other dancers, due to an overstress of stretching, may have problems with the hip socket. Due to point work, ballerinas may have problems with the ankles and with the feet bones. But also, due to a wrong position in the grand plié, they may have problems with the knees, the rotula. So those are common problems that happen to all dancers. So nobody escapes from that. So you will say, but is it really necessary to do ballet in order to avoid all this pain everywhere? Well, this is a common problem that happens to all sport people, not only to ballet dancers. So here, in the second slide, we have the full spine. We see here all the vertebrae and all the ribs. In order to relieve and to stop down the, I'm always referring to ballet dancers, in order to stop the pain, I think that ballet dancers today need an extra training because, as you can know, we do ballet, the ballet bar, ballet center, the rehearsals, the performances, and the next day we start all over again and again and again and again for years and years and years and years. ballet dancers do their own, very own stretching. Sometimes today you see ballet companies that have incorporated some extra classes of bodybuilding, of let's say bar floor, and which is good, very good, in order to avoid injuries. But I think that an extra thing like sort of postural gym with a mix of yoga and meditation and concentration in the mind and the body, you get used to the pain and you get used to the movement effort without giving effort. So it's a little bit contradictory what I'm saying, because you feel the pain, but you get used to it. And finally, you see that in doing this type of training, the pain disappears. So you have to handle the situation of the pain. It depends where you have the pain. And but most common, I'm referring to this part of the column, of the spine. Now this is the most dangerous one, because if you have a herniated vertebra, so sometimes you have to go to the doctor, and this is painful. In this slide, you have the normal position. And now let's take a ballerina or a dancer who becomes getting a bit old, something like 60, 65, 70, and a ballerina, for how she can keep her pull up, the body will start changing a little bit. Not like this one, of course, but something in the middle that is missing. And but this, we are talking about a person of 75, 80 years old. So as you can see, the bone structure starts shrinking and gets smaller, shorter. Now in this slide here, we have nearly at 90% a normal bone structure of what do we pretend in ballet. In this one, this happens usually when a ballet dancer retired after 10 years, 15 years. And this is another type of bone structure. So in this one, we have lordosis. In this one, we have the kyphosis and sway back. Now, let's go in this structure here. Here we have the skeleton plus the muscle. As we can see, a ballet dancer, of course, keep the feet turned out and the legs turned out. And of course, the legs, the turn out start from this hip joints. Oops, sorry. Just don't move. Okay. As I said, those are the joints, the most dangerous one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, in which you may have problems after the age of 40, 45. It depends how much you work. Now here, let's see a little bit more accurate. I have done that on my way. So as you see, I have divided this human body and I put it in this way. Like if you are sitting on the floor at the second. Of course, the feet are not turned out because I don't have a 3D dimensional program, but the feet should be turned out, so that means that we should see the heel. But in here, we have kept the leg turned in. So what happens in the hip socket? Sorry. In this hip socket, which comes here, if you keep the leg turned out, the leg can go higher. If you keep it turned in, as you can see, the hip, the bone cannot go upwards. So there are many people, I see many people in ballet class, or sometimes in, especially the young ones, who make postural gym or floor bar with the feet turned in, and the teacher doesn't correct anything, which in my opinion is not good, because you have to correct the mistakes as soon as you see it on young people. Now in here, I have lifted the arm a little bit in order to show the shoulder joint. Of course, here underneath is missing a bit of muscles. This is the most delicate part, because all the strength comes underneath the arm, the underarm. And when you do a pas de deux, especially the boys, they have a tendency to push the shoulders down, which is correct, of course, but they give too much pressure on those two parts of the body. And sometimes it may happen that giving too much pressure on these two bones, if the line, the spine, is not correctly placed, you may risk to have a problem with the vertebra, the spine vertebra here. The next slide. So the posture. What about the posture? In ballet, of course, we all opt this posture, which is the correct one. As a ballet teacher, you will always say, listen, ballet teacher who will say, pull up at the bar. So this is, of course, the pull up position. You cannot have this at the bar. The ballet teacher will start screaming if he see a dancer in this position. But unfortunately, ballet dancers today, due to the modern life, they keep using the mobile phone during ballet class, during rehearsals, not during performance, of course, but when they finish the performance, they go at home, they go at a restaurant, and they start using the mobile phone, which mobile phone brings the head forward, and you have this position. So it's a battle between ballet, which is the correct one, and the mobile phone, which is this posture. So you give a double extra effort every day, and for class and for ballet ball. So what happens is that you feel after a while a strong pain in the neck. And many dancers today accuse pain in the neck. So you will tell me, but then a ballet dancer must never use a mobile phone. Yes, you can use mobile phone, but you have to moderate yourself. You just, there's no need to stay hours in the mobile phone. Same applies for the computer. Now, I'm talking, I'm giving tips, but I'm here in front of the computer, and sometimes I find myself going with my head forward, because unfortunately this is the position that I get in front of the computer. So I'm very brave giving tips and saying, no, don't do that, but I'm doing also the same mistake. So this is the correct position that we all expect for the ballet dancer. Now this never, because this is already grave, and this happens when you have especially a scoliosis here, and when the scoliosis gets deeper and stronger, so you get that. So I do hope that ballet dancers and ballet teachers never reach this two position. This is the best one, of course. Now in this slide, which I agree at 80%, it is very good because it's a spine relaxation and elongation. But you have to do it moderately and you have to go to a sports center. You can also try to do it at home. But at home, be careful, because if you use a table, if you use furniture, you must be sure that this furniture will not start moving. Otherwise, you risk injuries and great injuries. Because having an injuries in the neck bones, that is the most painful thing in this planet. Now in here, I agree with this, but you have to do it very, very, very slowly. Now, once you reach this position, it depends what age you are, you have to relax. I don't agree with this one, because all the strength goes on the knee and on the thighs. So instead of relaxing the back, you give too much strength on this part of the body. When you reach this position, I usually do some exercises. Relaxation, yes, but slowly, you bring your arms forward and you stand up. And you stand up again sitting. So that makes a full exercise going like a circle. But you need to have something that an elastic band or something around the feet with that support, in order that you make your stomach muscles work. My time, when I was 19 years old, my father used to push I was sitting on the mattress, on the bed, and my father used to push my feet on the mattress, and I was doing this, but the end of the mattress was here. The end of the bed was here. So I was going backwards and I was returning. And I was doing this exercise 20 times per day. Believe me that the next day I couldn't walk because my muscles were really in pain. But it's an excellent exercise. Now let's see here. The posture. This is, of course, the correct one. Now this is the one that we abandon ourselves with a bad posture, and it's very difficult to reach this one. But with some exercises, you can. You will feel some pain here around the neck. This is a very rudimental way to keep the spine well straight. Of course, today we have medical belts and elastic belts to put around the waist, around the shoulders. But it's a good way, in order that the child doesn't get a bad posture. I don't personally agree too much with those three one. This one is good, but I would only use this part, this stick wood, which means that the stick wood, you can lift it up and put it a little bit more upwards, and you pull your shoulders down, because here you see she is giving too much pressure on the shoulders, so the shoulders are going a little bit upwards. They are lifted. They should be pulled down as those girls, and this I don't like because it's not good for the spine, but I prefer this one. This photo is good. I still opt for only this wooden stick, not this one. Now, in this one, this picture, it's good. The only thing that might be dangerous is that little thing behind the back, which could bring some pain for people who have never done sport. For people who are ex-ballet dancers, they would probably be able to do it. Now, this is the full body. Of course, returning to the bone structure, all the bones act as a protective velvet glove to the entire body. So we have the outside part of the muscles here, the external part, which is covered by the skin, and you have all the internal organs inside. And this is the part in which we practice every day, because you see here we have different type of muscles for the shoulders, for the arms, for the leg, for the hips, and for the neck. This is a sort of yoga and very good training, of course, but I would recommend this to people who, even ballet dancers could try to do it, but you have to do it very careful. And maybe in the beginning you can use a sort of soft little, how can I say, pillow in order to put the shoulders on it, in order to not, have a straight contact with the floor, unless you have, a ballet floor which you can use and work on. This exercise is very good, but be careful that you are squeezing the spine vertebra if you pull too much. So you have to feel when the pain arises. As soon as you feel a little pain, you have to stop. Don't keep pushing, because it could harm, it could be dangerous, and the injuries arise after months and months and months of this type of training. But it's a good exercise. But I don't recommend this, all of these, every day. You can do it once per week. This, of course, is a very good exercise. So let's start with this one. This one is very good. You can also do it at home without the need of this chair. You can put your feet on the bed or on a table, on a small table, but it has to be very strong. You must be sure that what you are using for the feet is strong enough, mustn't move. And so there are some people that I see in some videos that from this number 1 to number 2, they count very fast. So that means they count from down to up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I don't agree with this. I would rather agree with counting in this mode, in this way. I'm sitting on the floor and slowly I go upwards. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4. I stay upwards and I remain and I count 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I return back 1, 2, 3, 4. And the important is to keep the feet and the leg turned out with pointed feet, especially for ballet dancers. Never keep that position on the heel. You must keep your feet pointed and turn out. In this one, in this photo, it's a very good exercise, but I would not recommend to you to use a table, because if on the table you have a TV or a pot of flour and the table is not stable, is not strong enough, you might find yourself falling in the floor with the table and TV and pot of flour falling on your stomach or on your face, which is not good. I usually do this with a portable bar. I hold the bar and I lift my body. And the important is you give the strength with the feet a little bit à la seconde, and you give the strength and you pull up, giving the strength here in the lower back and the strength with the stomach. And you count slowly, not fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. You go upward and you stay. And 5, 6, 7, 8 until your shoulders touch the floor again. But very, very, very slowly. And those are the muscles that you will start working. Of course, they will hurt the next day. But you cannot do that daily. You alternate. You fix yourself a program. Now let's talk about the internal organs and about the food, the health, the metabolism, how you eat and what you eat. Usually ballet dancers have the bad habit between the ballet class, rehearsals. When they finish the ballet class, they go in the canteen, they take a cup of coffee. They, during lunch, they eat an apple and a yogurt, and then they return back to work, which is not bad, of course, but it's little, it's very little, so you have this type of stomach, and it keeps you alive without falling in the floor for the rest of the day. But then when you go at home, you eat a normal meal. I don't know normal meal what means for you, because there are some people who eat too much. But I recommend you to eat if you have a full day of rehearsal, full day of performance, and you stay in the theater from the morning up to the late evening. You can eat something like a soup, and you mix the soup with some fish or some pieces of meat, but don't eat too much. And the intestine and the stomach and the liver and the heart is the most precious part of a ballet dancer. Because if you have been eating something that brings you stomach ache, the next day you cannot do a ballet class. Now let's see here what happens. Let's return to this slide. This, of course, is the body of a young man of about 30, I presume, 30 years old. And this is the body of a person who's starting to approach to 50, 55, 60 maybe. So you see the difference. The difference of the stomach is different, the liver is different, the intestine mass is different, and here the hips, the waist are different. Here is much slimmer, and here it is wider, and also the heart is different. Why? Because while we are aging, the body, the physique, the human body changes naturally, inexorably. It changes for everyone. But you must try to keep a constant regime and a constant training, even if you are aging, to keep that shape. So you will tell me, so that means that I must never eat properly. No, you can eat properly, but you have to work more on your training. You have to find the suitable training. So I see that many ballet dancers, they stop dancing. After stopping dancing, the luckiest one, they start teaching. And once they start teaching, they put on weight, which is a shame. So try to keep that shape for two reasons. One, because you will feel much healthier. And the second, you have to keep a look of a sport person. Don't let yourself go. So do your training even if you are a ballet teacher. I don't say that you have to do an Olympic game training. You do the type of training that is suitable for you. You can do yoga, you can do floor bar, you can do whatever you want, but you dedicate yourself 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, maybe if you can more, and have a good food regime that gives you proteins and good strength without exaggerating, and you will see that you will keep yourself in a better shape. Now here, temptation, fake satisfaction, regrets, and illness. Of course, here we are not talking about ballerinas. We are talking about persons who have never done any sport. Temptation, however, applies for everyone, because even ballet dancers are tempted to have a different type of food than the stereotype ballerina food. So you find yourself eating this type of hamburger with a sort of sandwich with extra things that is not necessary. So everything starts from the temptation. Temptation will bring you to fake satisfaction. Why? Because the stomach will give you that feeling in the brain to be happy that you are filling up your stomach with good food. Now here, this happens during festivities, during Christmas, New Year, Epiphany, and so on, and Easter, and blah blah, and a lot of chocolates, and a lot of cake, and you go out with friends, and and unfortunately, we forget. We say to ballet, to all type of training and sport, oh, just forget it. I will pick it up. And this is the moment where you ruin yourself, because it starts with temptation, then goes into fake satisfaction because you feel that your stomach is happy, eating 1 or 2 sandwiches, and then here you have the regrets, because the regrets are at a pre-final line in which your body starts changing and you cannot go back anymore. So from here, from regrets, then many of people that I know went into illness. With illness, it is difficult because then you have to use medicine, you have to go to the doctor. Now, let's see what happens afterwards. After the regrets, you have this. Now, here you have the bone structure. You see here the black lines. This is the black line, which is the bone structure, which cannot change. But the only thing that changes is the muscles that become floppy, and you pick on weight and weight and weight and weight and weight, and you reach very easily 120 kilos, 125, 150, and it is very difficult to return back as you were before. So, but there are some people who have the strength to say, okay, I will not keep that shape. I want to return back. So this is what happens. Let's say that this lady was like this one before and decide to change. But remember that it is much harder to lose weight than picking up weight, because you pick up weight very quickly. But to lose weight, it takes months and months and maybe a year. Don't relate yourself too much easily with the pills, with the medicine to lose weight, because this could harm the body. So what happens if you reach this line, and also if you lose more weight, you will start accusing problems with the bone structure. Because if you start losing weight and you start doing some sport, those are the parts that are going to hurt. So this, of course, is the bad posture, and this is the correct one. But even if you have the correct one, you will still have some pain in this place, in this place, this place, in this place, and sometimes here. So you have to take constant care of what type of sport you are doing. Now here we are going to the extreme, which has nothing to do with the weight, but has to do with the constant training. So let's say that a ballet dancer reaches something like 50, 60 years old. He is not going to do the bar anymore. You see, if you take, for instance, Sylvie Guillem, who was the first ballerina, Sylvie Guillem now doesn't do the bar, but she does her own training. She found her own system. She created her own system to keep in shape. So there are some people who do yoga, there are some people who do stretching, there are some people who invent themselves different type of training that are suitable for them. And this is what you have to create also. So you see, I picked up here of course, the extreme, just to show you, to give you an idea. This is, of course, must be a man of something like 70 or maybe more. But as you can see, he's trying to keep in shape with a good stretching. In ballet, usually we keep this knee on the side. This one is probably a man of reaching 85, 87, I think. But he has a good stamina and a good self-discipline to be able to do that. Something that I don't think I would personally be able to do. I tried, but I don't have this strength. This is another person who found how to reach the system to reach the split. Of course, we don't know if the back knee here is stretched or bent, but however, it's a good thing. Now, I don't agree too much with this because when you have a young body, there is no need, absolutely no need to stress your body with extreme holding, heavy weights on your arms, and just to show that you are able to reach those extremes. There's absolutely no need. If you are young, you can then start trying to do this or that or another type of training, but there is no need to stress the body. Now, what happens with the neck? Returning to ballerinas, this is the most vulnerable part. Why? Because ballerina work the pirouettes, the fouettes. Male ballet dancer, they do the tour à la seconde, and you all constant work the head. As we all know, in a pirouette or in a tour, you keep you're looking at the audience, and then the head returns before the body. So I usually use that, which is very good. Once you have ended your day, you dedicate 20 minutes to this, and you relax. So I usually do that. I stay like that 10 minutes, and then the other 10 minutes, slowly relaxing the neck, the back neck. I turn my head on the right, then in the center, then on the left, very slowly. So I will feel my bones here, the neck bones, cracking a little bit, and which is a nice feeling, of course. It's not frightening, but you have to go very slowly. This also is a good, how can I say, machinery, but I would prefer this one because this one is lower than this one. With this type of pulling the neck up to have a longer neck, it is good, but you have to know what it means relaxing the neck. Because otherwise, instead of relaxing the neck, you crunch the muscles of the back here, of the neck, and instead of relaxing, first you might have a pain here with this cause, but it could be harmful. You see, if you go in this picture, this person, he is not really relaxing because, as we see here, there is some tension. While in this photo, the person is more relaxed. So you see the difference between this one, and this one, and this one. Also, this one is very good. Now, if you are trying to pull your neck upwards, because many people say that it's very good to pull your neck, but remember to not pull your neck like a chicken. You do that, but you must go to a sports center or to a physiotherapist who is able to help you to do that. Don't do it at home because risk of accidents are plenty. So you have to be very careful, because once you feel your neck with the pain, there is no remedy, there is no cure, and you have really running to the doctor to see what is happening. So this is good, of course, it's very relaxing, but you cannot sleep with this. This is good after the training, after your ballet training, your sport training every day. You need to dedicate some relaxation. Now, in this part, during class, I see many people who do the stretching with this position, which is wrong. Of course, we all expect to have that, which is more correct. But the only thing I may suggest is if you bend your knee a little bit in the beginning, like a demi-plié, and you put your arms under your feet, you stretch one knee at a time, keeping the head down. Very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I bend. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I bend. And you can try then to do also this type of exercise in which you bend all the spine and you stretch. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you return back 5, 6, 7, 8, and you hold. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4, and again 5, 6, 7, 8. You can also try to do the same with flex foot or with pointed feet. Both are very good, but you have to go very, very, very slowly, never fast. What about the feet? Of course, here we are not referring to ballet dancer feet, because those are feet of people who have never done any sport. But as we know, each human being has a different type of foot or feet. So, but remember that if you are a ballet dancer, especially ballerinas, but also male dancers, you have to treat your feet as gold. They must be hygienic. They mustn't have wounds. They mustn't have blisters. They must be clean. And as soon as you have a wound, you must take care of it. And it depends also what type of shoe you are wearing. I see sometimes many ballerinas who, after performance, they go into a party, they are invited to a cocktail, to a grand gala, and they wear heels, which is damaging the ankles and too much pressure on the toes, because you have already spent the whole day on point shoes, and then you are giving that strength on the heel, on this part of the foot, which is damaging and creating big problems. And you will feel it the next day. So even if you are invited in some places, I recommend flat shoes always. Or at home, just you wear a pair of socks and you remain with a pair of socks. That's it. Now, what happens when you are wearing this? It will affect and will bring some problems with the spine as well. But if you are using this, then you will keep a long spine. Now we have reached our final slide, thanks God. So in postural gym, as well as the floor bar or ballet or the other sport, you have to keep a long line spine while you are sitting on the floor, which is absolutely correct. I usually use sometimes during class the elastic band, that goes from one shoulder under the left arm and go and brace the left foot, and vice versa with the second elastic, the same thing, which goes on the other side. I usually do that, which will look a little bit, would feel like this, oops, sorry, like this one. This is the feeling, of course. And it will help to elongate the spine, the neck, all the vertebrae, and sometimes during relaxation you will feel that some parts of the bones will start making some noise, some cracking, you know, tick tock, tick tock. So don't be scared, because it's very normal. I agree also with this, which is another type of training, of course, but you must do it very carefully, because there is no need to go further than this position. See? In ballet, sometimes we see many ballerinas who exceed and go, the head goes up there. But this is already good, because all the strength are on the gluteus muscles and on the back muscles here of the thigh. So if you stress too much this part, the next day you will not be able to walk. And another thing, you have to do that with legs at la seconde and pointing the feet. But for boys, this is a very, very good exercises. It strengthens the kidneys and it gives more strength to the back. But you mustn't exceed. You can do 8, you breathe, you relax, and you start again, you do 8, and you relax, and you breathe. There's no need to count fast, you just you go upwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, you stay, and then slowly, slowly you go down. Now, when you get used to this type of training, then instead of keeping the arms behind the head and the shoulders sideways, you can bring your arms en couronne, which is in third position, which is much, much, much harder. This is good, but in my opinion, it is dangerous, as it is shown here in this photo, because I don't agree with this support thing, which frightens me a little bit. But it's a good exercises. But take care that pulling too much, it might hurt the spine. So as you see here, the girl is much shorter, so she is stretching more the upper part of the spine, while here the gentleman is stretching the lower back. So it depends on the height of the support, it depends on how you push, with how much strength you push inwards into the floor. So always take care. Do not push. Never. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave those tips. Probably they could be good for some of you. Probably not many people will agree. But of course, it depends on your good sense of humor as well. And but always try to do something. Never give up. Always work, 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 work. Even if you are a ballet teacher, even if you are a choreographer, no matter what age you are, how much work you are doing, dedicate yourself some time to yourself. Dedicate some time to understand what are your body limits, and you try to cope with those body limits. Because the body limits augment with the age. So you have to cope, you have to accept, and you keep training. So thank you for watching this video and have a lovely day. Until next time.